This magnetic keyboard has the highest scanning rate I've ever seen. 2,304,000 something, which is crazy. But will it actually make a difference though? Let's go ahead and check it out. We can finally review and test it out. Huge thanks to my friend Siko for letting me borrow it. And note that this keyboard has already been unboxed. Again, I'm just borrowing it. But yeah, nice secured, premium, and unique packaging. I really love how it opens up and you have that drawer thing. Pretty unique. All of the accessories that you will be needing will also come with the keyboard. And I'm pretty sure the switch keycap puller that came with it was kinda stock. To be specific, the switch puller part, something looked wrong with the springs and it was already in. I was trying to press it and it's not going out. But yeah, it was pretty similar to the QWERTY keys switch keycap puller here, where you put this up. Now, first impressions on the keyboard does feel very high quality. It does have a full aluminum case. The design is pretty cool. You do have this glossy frame here as well as this part on top. It does have a very unique backing, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's metal. It is also pretty rough. Very cool looking though. Now, this is the white blue color variation, but you can also get it in orange, black, or silver. Now, I'm also seeing an ember flame and golden glaze color variation. All variations look pretty cool. Will definitely be personal preference. And like I said earlier, it does feel very high quality full aluminum case. It weighs around 1,260 grams. Pretty good, decent weight. Now for the keycaps, these should be Dysub PBT, but if you get the ones with transparent keycaps, that's gonna be polycarbonate. But yeah, pretty okay quality. Then for the switches, these are Gateron custom white jade POM magnetic switches. I already gave you guys all sound test earlier. It is pretty stable, minimal wiggle wobble. It does sound pre-lubed. It is smooth as well. Closed bottom, no problems with these switches, but you can also get them with the Gateron Jade Air magnetic switches if you'd prefer that. But yeah, this keyboard should also be compatible with other Gateron or TTC like magnetic switches like KOMs or Jade Pros. And yeah, as you can see, it is dual facing north and south RGB. Look at that. RGB is gonna look very good, especially with the transparent keycap variation. Oh, and wait, I just realized having transparent switches will also be kind of a requirement if you want to take advantage of the dual RGB. Because like the switches we got here, they're not really compatible with two RGBs. They're just gonna display one side. So whoa, okay, the Jade Airs will definitely be a better option here than if you want that better RGB experience. Anyways, here's a little sound test with the switches and the keycaps on. Now, I think that sounds pretty good, pretty decent. Now, it doesn't sound bad, but for the price you're paying, I can see some people expecting something more special with the sound. But hey, don't get me wrong, it does sound pretty good. Again, it will be personal preference. You hear the sound test, you decide what you think about it. Now, the stabilizers are also pretty decent. I can see a good amount of lube there. We also have some silicone here. Very nice efforts. You can also see a lot of layers here. Oh, and we also have different mounting styles, so you can play around with that, change the sound profile by a little bit. But yeah, I really like that feature. But okay, now moving on to the performance of this keyboard, which I think is the craziest part and what people are buying this keyboard for. I also think that's what you're mainly paying for, but yeah, let's start with the craziest part, the scanning rate. It goes up to 2,304K, so that's like 2,304,000. What? I think that's the main reason why so many people want me to review this keyboard. Like, that is crazy. And yeah, that is for key scan rate. Now for the full key scan rate, up to 256K. For the polling rate, 8,000. And then for the sensitivity rapid trigger, 0.001 millimeters. And I think one of the main reasons why they can go up to that high of a scanning rate is because they do have their flagship dual controllers, full key direct ADC connection here. So it does have a full key dual MCU inside of this. But yeah, we'll see and test that out on Keyboard Inspector and my latency testing tool later. But okay, let's go ahead and plug it in and check out more of its features in the web-based software, and also check out its RGB it is pretty bright and vibrant. Again, the keycaps aren't really see-through, but with the polycarbonate keycaps, you'll definitely be able to see the RGB more. And the switches are also kind of blocking that dual RGB, dual facing. So as you can see, there's two. Having see-through switches like the Jade Airs will definitely make the RGB brighter as well. So if you really want the RGB, go for that. But okay, I have Morkblade's website here. I tried to access the web software on Allah's website, but it does not work. So make sure you're on the Morkblade website, and it's on Chinese, but after some translation, the third one should be WebDriver. So 1, 2, 3, and this is local driver. So if you want to download, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and access the WebDriver. Then after that, we'll be able to change the language. Just make sure you connect the keyboard first. Click the A letter here. It would be originally like this. So, but anyways, we can change the profile here, device, make new configurations, import, do these stuff. Then we'll be able to change the performance or the rapid trigger settings. I'm not gonna go into too much details on my reasons why I set these specific settings. I already made a separate video about that. But yeah, as you can see, you can go down to as low as 0.001 millimeters. We can also set some safe zones or dead zones. You can experiment which works the best for you, and then we can also preset. So pretty cool if you play OSU, CS, or League of Legends, Valorant here, or just a normal typing keyboard, I guess. I'm pretty happy with mine already though. And then we can also change the switches. Not really that big of a deal as long as you know the max distance millimeters of your switches. And yeah, if you don't want any rapid trigger, just click mechanical here. But yeah, moving on to the remap tab, we can remap the keys here as well as the different layers. We can also set combination keys to quickly switch configurations or profiles, which is very nice. Then other than remapping the keys, we can also set the tap hold, or I'm pretty sure this is mod tap. We also have DKS, SOCD, and toggle key. But yeah, pretty much all of the features you will be needing is over here. Now moving on to the macro tab, you can set macros, very nice. And then RGB, you can set it to the max brightness. We do have a good amount of effects here. We can even customize if you don't like any. You can get really advanced, so if you want something different for the top and the bottom, wow. And my lighting is kind of strong, so you might not be able to see it, but whenever I turn down or turn off the upper light, it does not change anything, because again, it's not getting taken advantage of with the switches. So yeah, I guess we can just turn off the upper because it's useless. But yeah, very customizable RGB here. Now moving on to the adjustments, we can recalibrate the keyboard here. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, you can test your keys here. And then moving on to the settings, we can change the polling rates, 8000 hertz. We can restore factory settings. We can also do an online update, which is very nice. You don't have to download anything. I really appreciate that. Or you can also do a local update and just some information. And that's pretty much it for the software. Very nice, easy to access. Might be confusing for some actually because of the Chinese stuffs, but yeah, after you watch this video, it should be very easy to access that. Feature packed, very customizable. Now let's go ahead and test this out on Keyboard Inspector. We did set this to 8000 hertz polling rate earlier, so let's see how accurate that is. And here's the results. Yeah, pretty accurate. 8000 hertz polling rate, no problems with that. But okay, now let's go ahead and test this out with my latency testing tool, OSL TTCS. I do have pretty high expectations here because again, it does have like 2.3 million scan rate. I think that's the highest scan rate I've seen so far on a magnetic keyboard. It also has dual MCU, so we'll see how will that perform. But yeah, I already made a separate video how this latency testing tool works, so I'm not gonna go into too much details, but what it pretty much does is it measures the time between when the keycap comes into contact and when the computer actually receives the signal. So let's do this. And here's the results. 0.759 milliseconds. Okay, that is very impressive. I'd say pretty much on par with TMR keyboards. But yeah, despite having that crazy high number, 2.3 million hertz scanning rate, it's very impressive, don't get me wrong, the performance. But according to my tests, TMR is still the GOAT for responsiveness and performance. But yeah, I doubt you'll notice any difference when comparing this keyboard to the top magnetic keyboards on this list or even the other magnetic keyboards, because you'll only probably start noticing a difference when there's a 5 millisecond difference. And as you can see, most of these keyboards doesn't even have a millisecond difference. But yeah, for those interested on the milliseconds, here you go. And a little disclaimer that these results can still vary. There can be factors that alter the results, but these results should still be very accurate. Now without further ado, let's go ahead and test this keyboard out more in game.
Killed them.
Oh.
Last player standing.
One
Enemy
side.
remains.
Nice. Okay,
My
sana.
ult's ready.
Oh.
Oh my god, makes nice.
Not bad.
My ult's ready. One enemy remaining. Pathetic. Cutting their vision. enemy remaining.
So after playing and testing with the AliEx Morkblade MK60, here's my experience so far. Now you saw the test, the gameplay definitely won't hold you back when gaming. It is very responsive, all of the features worked. As soon as I press the key, they do actuate. As soon as I let go, they do activate the SOCD, the features, no problems. I didn't really experience any issues. Well, it's not really an issue, but if you're looking forward to that dual facing north and south RGB, well, you might get disappointed with the switches that comes in with the other variations like this one, because it's not transparent. It'll only be able to take advantage of one of the facing RGBs. So yeah, take that in mind when choosing the variation if ever you're gonna buy this keyboard. But other than gaming, I also had no problems using it for my daily use. Typing, it is pretty decent sounding like I mentioned. I'm pretty used to the FN combination key, so I don't really have any complaints with the layout. Like I showed earlier, you can quickly switch profiles or configurations, so that's definitely a nice feature if you're planning to use this for more than gaming, but also for daily use, productivity, or more than one game. So yeah, amazing experience with it, no major issues or inconveniences. Pretty decent keyboard. But okay, now to answer the question, is it worth it? Would I recommend it? Now I can see the price varying a lot, but you can get it for around $280 in novolo.com and Shopee, at least here in the Philippines, around $280. But I can see some AliExpress stores, not sure how legit, but around $200 for as low as that as well. So you can get it for a pretty good discount, I think, in some of these stores. Now I'm not sure if this is their legit website. I think so, allokeyboard.com. You can do your research, since again not sure, but in summary I see a lot of $280 and around $200. So let's say for around $280, this has a good amount of competition. Yeah, $280 is quite expensive. I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of difference, the millisecond, so I don't think that's enough reason for you to spend that much. Now for around $200 though, now that is more reasonable. I can see that. Full aluminum, pretty cool case here. Amazing performance, decent features, decent software. Web-based software might be a little confusing, but again, not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, it will really depend on you if you think it's worth it. But yeah, for around $200, I think it is worth it. For around $280, can still be worth it, but there's just so many other competitions much cheaper as well. For example, the EV63 from iQnix. If you saw the latency test earlier, they're pretty much next to each other. And you can get that, the iQnix EV63, with my discount code MIGSS for as low as around $160. So that is even cheaper than the cheapest ones I can find of the MK60 here. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put this keyboard first link in the description if you're interested. I'll be putting my affiliate links and my discount codes there that if you can use, I'll really appreciate. It would really support me and the channel a lot. And like I said earlier, huge thanks to my friend Siko for lending me this keyboard here for review. And as always, everything that I've been saying about this keyboard are all my honest opinions and review. But yeah, I pray and hope that this video helped you in some way. I'll go and see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to stay grateful, and remember, Jesus loves you. Bye bye.